Hello viewers, thank you so much for joining me on this channel. In previous videos I have talked at length about English language proficiency tests. I've compared IELTS with OET. I've talked about how to pass OET in 25 days. I've talked about each individual subtest of OET. In this video I'll give a broad but brief overview regarding how to deal with English language proficiency tests. Before we get into the video, I'd like to take a minute to talk about why we even need to prove that we are proficient in the use of the English language. If you're going to the UK to work as a doctor, the General Medical Council wants to know for certain, before they grant you registration, that you can communicate effectively in English with your patients and your colleagues, because safety is on the line. So they will not take any chances before granting you registration. Now, the easiest way to prove that you are proficient in the use of the English language is if you can think in English. But if English is not your native language, it is a fairly normal habit of thinking in some other language, translating it into English in your mind, and then uttering the words in English. However, if you do this, it becomes very evident to the person you're talking to that you're actually translating some other language into English and then speaking in English. This is a habit that you have to let go of. You can overcome this habit with practice. So without further ado, let's get into the meat of the discussion. The first decision that you need to make is which English language proficiency test you need to take, IELTS or OET. OET is something you should consider only if you are working in the healthcare occupations and you're trying to get yourself registered with the General Medical Council. It has two advantages. Advantage number one is OET is widely considered to be easier to pass than IELTS. And advantage number two is it familiarizes you with the healthcare scenarios you're likely to encounter when you eventually start working overseas. Now let's talk very briefly about each individual subtest in OET. OET starts with the listening subtest. The key to passing the listening subtest is remembering that you will only get to hear the audio once. So you have to pay very careful attention to what is being played on the audio. Don't worry about the accent because the audio is going to be crystal clear. If you pay attention to each word that is being played on the audio, you'll be able to answer the questions comfortably. The easiest way to pass reading subtest is remembering that the most important thing is time management. If you can manage time effectively, in other words, if you can read quickly enough while understanding what you're reading, you'll definitely pass the OET reading subtest easily. As far as the OET writing is concerned, this is widely considered to be the most challenging subtest in OET. What you need to do is read the clinical notes carefully, include what is relevant, and exclude whatever is irrelevant. There is a structure of the OET letter which you should memorize, and the body of the letter should not exceed the word limit mentioned. The easiest way of not going beyond the word limit is including everything that is relevant and excluding everything that is irrelevant. If you are in doubt whether something is relevant or irrelevant, it is better to consider it relevant and include it in the letter. But don't go beyond the word limit. You'll be fine with OET writing if you can follow this simple guidance. As far as OET speaking is concerned, you need to be deliberate but not too slow while you're speaking. All you need to do is make sure that you are speaking with emotions, the appropriate emotions, at a steady pace, and you're not restarting each sentence too often. Your sentences should be logically constructed, as in, you should try to tell people what you're going to talk about before you actually start talking about it. For example, you can say things like, I'm going to talk about the side effects of this drug before you actually talk about the side effects. And of course, at the end of the discussion, don't forget to summarize and don't forget to invite questions from the person you're talking to. You'll be fine with OET speaking if you can follow these instructions. Thank you so much for watching. In this video, I have oversimplified the process. If you want a more detailed discussion about each individual subtest and about the comparison between OET and IELTS or about the overall process in more detail, then you'll find links to those videos in the description below. I hope you'll find the time to watch them. I certainly hope you found watching this video worthwhile. Thank you once again for watching. Take care, and I hope to see you again in the next video.